Welcome everybody to episode number 7 of the Novice Healing Artist Podcast. I am so stoked to be here. I'm just having so much fun with this, and my whole aim and mission is to bring just tremendous value to you, to serve you properly. And the way I could serve you properly is by making myself and the knowledge and the wisdom within myself of service and of use for you. You know, I've always said I've wanted to make myself of good use, and so here we are with the Novice Healing Artist, episode number 7. And so the title of this particular episode it's on self-care, and so this is how I titled it: Self-Care Practices that can buffer your nervous system right now. Okay, so the reason for saying right now is because it makes it immediate. It's like you can actually do this right now. So welcome everybody. If this is your first time here, this is the Novice Healing Artist Podcast. I have the blog as well on my website at joaquinroland.com. That is me. I am Joaquin Roland. I am the self-care conspirator, musician, father, poet, songwriter, healing artist, health educator, health nut, human being that fluctuates and changes very often, but still your loyal, loving soul, your loyal, loving spirit that is making himself available to be used in the best way. And so I will get back to that, to being made for good use at some point. There's a reason for this. So this is a place where we'll discuss everything energy, everything medicine, herbs to vibration to mindset, suggestion. I love the power of suggestion. I truly believe suggestion is the greatest form of medicine. And with that, it's creative. I love creative medicine, not only just like painting and drawing and writing. I'm literally meaning using our imagination, using visualization, because it all can come into play. You know, our nervous system loves it. Our nervous system loves newness. It loves feeling grounded, loves feeling buffered, loves feeling supported. And we're going to get into that more about buffering our nervous system. So yeah, we're gonna jump right into it. But first, I'm gonna share with you my quote for being made for good use. And so I'm gonna pick up my computer here, and I'm gonna read this to you. So here it is. This is by George Bernard Shaw. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die. For the harder I work, the more I live. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is no brief candle for me. It is a sort of splendid torch which I have got hold of for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to the future generations. Let's burn that torch bright. Let's stay vigilant. Let's bring kindness. Let's bring love into our hearts. Let's remember our inherent intelligence, our inherent divinity. Let's remember that we are spirits in this material world, that we are much greater than this physical form. I just love this, and it just makes me want to work harder and with more purpose and intention. And again, that is to serve you with this podcast, with all that I'm doing, all the classes that I'm teaching. And so to make this valuable, I'm going to start off again with a story now. Here we go. And this is a story I felt that would be really good in this moment in time. Okay. So once upon a time, there was a scholar who sought a Zen master, and he arrived to the Zen master to learn from him. And the scholar proudly shows the Zen master all that he knows. But the master kept pouring tea into the scholar's cup until it overflows. demonstrating that the scholar's mind is already full and cannot accept anything more. The Zen master then tells the scholar that if he wants to learn from him, he must first empty his cup. That is, to let go of his preconceptions and be open to new ideas and experiences. So, this is the Novice Healing Artist. You don't necessarily need to be a novice. All we need is a beginner's mind, a Zen mind. Just like Suzuki Roshi wrote in his book. It's a great book. I highly recommend Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. We may think we know it all. I may think I know enough to take care of myself, but I don't. There are so many correct ways. There's so many new ways. There's so many innovative creations unfolding, right now. And so I want to be open. My prayer is to have that open mind. I want to be open and learn. And that's what I'm hoping for you. And that's who I want to attract and draw. So again, back to just providing great value for you. Here are my 3 top self-care resources on buffering your nervous system. So we're going to focus on that. So we're going to focus on buffering the nervous system. I love to work with the nervous system in the sense that it's very adaptogenic, in that it's umbrella-like. When we work and focus on the nervous system, you are able to achieve so much instead of just like a particular organ or a particular, organ or place in the body. When we can address and aim and speak to and aid and support the nervous system, we're going to be able to take care of the whole being, the whole body, every organ, the whole system. So, the nervous system feels like, to me, intuitively, it is like if it was a plug on a jack and there was spirit, it is like the tip of the jack. It is like, it's like the essential part of ourselves. It is it's so fine, yet so profound, much like spirit, much like its intelligence, and that it plugs right into this physical form and it speaks to it profoundly, efficiently, as nature always does. And so here we go. Let's see. Yeah. So, but before I want to explain why self-care is paramount for anyone in the health and social services field. How can we actually be real helpers if we can't even help ourselves? That's just getting right to it. Everybody, from nurses to policemen to social workers, self-care is paramount. Self-care is necessary because the work that we do it's heavy and it can be hard on the heart. And you see things and you hear things that you don't wish upon anybody. As a healing artist, you see things and you hear things that, again, you don't wish upon anybody. And you're listening actively, and you're listening with your heart, you're listening with an open mind, and you want to look for ways to help this person that's in front of you. But the big but is, how good are you at taking care of yourself? And so I'm offering these 3 suggestions, these three ways. This is not, I wouldn't even say it's necessarily my top 3, but these are go-tos, okay? And so first one, I'm going to address is vagus nerve stimulation. And so it is the 10th cranial nerve, and it comes from just out here underneath the auditory system. And they call it the wandering nerve, and it just goes down on both sides, and it meets the organs. This vagus nerve is responsible for us being in a state of a sympathetic state, which is fight or flight. So for like, hey, alert, alert, all the blood moves to the periphery to fight or flee, okay? In our society, we are being almost programmed or being conditioned to be in a state of fight or flight all the time. Therefore, we can't be in a centered, calm state to make a really rational decision. All of marketing and sales and marketing wants to keep us off balance, irrational, and make that irrational purchase, make that irrational decision. We're all guilty of it. I'm surely guilty of it. I've noticed it. I don't like it. What I'd like to be is in a core state, which is a parasympathetic state. So when we activate the vagus nerve, the 10th cranial nerve here, just ever so gently, just as I'm doing right now, I'm going to show you that. I'll get to it in a minute, but it allows the energy from the periphery of the body to come back to center. Okay. And so when we're back to center, all that blood, all that energy comes back to the core and starts nourishing the organs. We come back into a healing response. So it's in my private practice, it's the first thing I do. It's this particular touch, and it's what I teach. It's the first thing I teach in the human touch. It's a cranial hold from the style of energy medicine called polarity therapy by Dr. Randolph Stone, who is a true genius and pioneer of the healing arts, and love to expound upon him more in the future. So yeah, it creates a healing state, down regulating, therefore grounding, instantly nourishing the nervous system, the vagus nerve. And so here's one way that I've created. And what I do is I bring my two fists side by side, and I make my fingers into an L shape. And then I'll just bring them right here. I'll just hold right here, just ever so gently. My fist right in front of my throat, and my fingers, no pressure really at all. And I just breathe here for about 30 seconds. So with my thumb, my pointer finger representing air element, thumb representing ether, just very sympathetic to the core, which reflexes to the spine, reflexes to the brain. And we're just releasing that fight or flight. It really feels calming. It really feels good. And it's such a gift and a blessing that we can do this for ourselves. This is something you can share with others that you know and love to help them down regulate. Help them feel their feet back on the ground. Just breathing into your heart. All right. So take your time to do that. Make your fingers into an L. You just bring them right alongside, right? Maybe pointer finger pointing right up at your earlobe, right under your earlobe, and you're just covering that 10th cranial nerve with just the softest, lightest touch that you can. We call it Sattvic touch. Very balanced, very neutral, very generous, healing. Generously healing. Here we go. I love that. Okay, my next one, number 2, is meditation. So when we sit, we have the ability, we can do that exercise right there that we just did, the vagus nerve stimulation. We can do eye exercises. That is one of my favorite things and exercises to get into with the nervous system. I will share an episode on eye exercises alone, because the eyes are the windows to the soul. And wherever the eyes go, chi goes. So the better the quality of our sight and our inner vision, the better quality of our life, just as goes with the breath. Same thing. It's all life force. We're all emitting energy. So in meditation, it's an opportunity to be with your essential self, to tune into your inherent wisdom, your inherent divinity, to spend time with your immortal nature, that which is unborn and undying, your spirit. So much can be done when we sit, and it's simply just sitting, and we could just focus on breathing. Just like Thich Nhat Hanh would share, just something like this: breathing in, I am breathing in. I'm breathing out, I am breathing out. And it's a beautiful way to get into a flow, to a rhythm. And as you get into the flow, and here comes nature taking its course, the nature of the mind is like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that. And so one of my favorite things to do is to organize my thoughts. So instead of going like, why am I thinking these thoughts so much? This is bothering me. No, I'll welcome them. Say, hi, you belong in the work category. I will put you there and I'll file you away. Thank you for coming. Thank you for reminding me. Now I'm back to breathing, or back to the exercise that I was working on while in meditation. So when I'm in meditation, personally, I'm pretty active, actually. I'm not like trying to get crazy empty, even though I feel like it just naturally happens that way. Like, you do get empty. But I'm active. I'm doing my eye exercises. I'm breathing in. I might be doing some fakar, which is a Sufi style of breathing exercise where it's almost like you place a thought like love, like the term love, into a swing. I imagine like a baby swing, and I place love into the swing, and then I inhale and it swings back, and I'm swinging back. There's love, and then I'm exhaling love, swinging forward, back and forth. It's one of my favorite exercises in meditation. So again, never fighting anything. There's nothing to really fight. There's nothing to be frustrated about. I hear people all the time be frustrated about meditation, and I don't think it's that. I feel like it might be intimidating to just sit still. It could be kind of crazy making for some people, and I get it. So again, it doesn't have to be just sitting still and fighting the forces of nature, like your mind going a million miles a minute. It could also be a walking meditation where you're really mindful of placing each foot before you, and you're out in nature. You could even do a walking meditation in your own home. I was part of a walking meditation group, and I used to allow them to use my house, and would come into my house and we would just walk in circles or down my hallway and around the kitchen and through. There's a million and one right ways, and this is what I love about being alive and being a teacher and an educator, and to let you know that the healing arts, spirituality, all of this does not need to be like boring. It could be truly entertaining. It could be truly engaging. It could be so much fun, whimsical, creative, off the chain. Amazing. Helping people one-on-one is one of my favorite things. It's a total honor. It's amazing. I get to be creative and I get to show them how to show people how to be creative with their own being, with their own way. Okay, so that was number 2, meditation. Moving right along. This one is creative. This is something really, it's suggestive in a way, and it's a mindset. And so I don't feel too many people are talking about using their a mindset as a way to buffer your nervous system, but here I go. Okay, here it goes. I want to tell you something, and I want you to get ready for it. And then you're going to have to get ready for it. Okay, so here it goes. The inevitable blows are on their way. Let that hit you. The inevitable blows are on the way. And so when I hear that, I think a few things. I think, well, how can I prevent some of this? How can I prevent these blows? And it's true. There are things that we can do to prevent unfortunate things happening. And in the same respect, there are things that are out of our control that we will experience. Maybe the death of a loved one we have no control over. It could be anything, but that is just fully out of our control. So then I go deeper, and then I think to myself, well, what can I do to buffer my nervous system, to buffer my being, my mind, my body? And again, I go right to the nervous system. It is to do these things. It's to meditate, to go for walks in nature. Do the things that nourish your system. But also to not be surprised by the inevitable blows that are on their way. Know this. Know that it's going to happen. Know that you're going to get rocked. We are all going to get rocked as a collective and as an individual, as a community. Things happen that are unfortunate, and they will continue to happen that are unfortunate or like an untimely death. We just need to be prepared.